Wherever you are, it's Jeff DeVerter, Chief Technology Evangelist here at Rackspace. And today it's all about the Rackspace Career Fair. We're going to tell you about some great opportunities at Rackspace that you could apply for today. All coming up in 30 seconds. Well, this is a first for us here on our live stream here at Rackspace.com. Hey team, it's a career fair day, and it's going to be a lot of fun. We've got some great people who are going to come on and tell you about some amazing things happening here at Rackspace. But while we get ready for that, what I'd love to encourage you to do is, tell us, who you are and if you're here and what's going on, and I'll see if I can figure out how to push these buttons. Keeps going away. Hey, introduce yourself down below because we're glad that you're here. So thanks so much for that. But as we get into it, I'm going to have in just a minute Mr. Josh Pruitt come online. Now, Josh is part of what we call here at Rackspace the Executive Leadership Team. He is the Chief Product Officer for Rackspace. And that means that all of the products and services, as we define and deliver them to so they can be delivered to our customers, come out of his team. He's got a bunch of great people who have a bunch of great opportunities. You'll find that today you're going to learn about opportunities from senior product managers, data engineers, data managers, data leadership positions, and software developers. So, without any further ado, let's get Josh in here. Josh has, I think, been on the program before. He's been on the podcast before. Josh Pruitt, welcome to the program.
Hey, thanks for having me, Jeff. Always a pleasure to hang out with you.
Oh man, what a great way to spend lunch.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
Looking forward to seeing, how many folks we can get excited about some really cool jobs that we've got over here at Rackspace.
Fantastic. Looks like Raj is already here, and Raj is looking for finance opportunities in mid to senior level. Ooh, from London. Excellent. Raj, here's going to be the default answer. We're hiring in almost every area of the company right now, which is fantastic. And the best place you can go, and this link is going to get posted, is the Rackspace job site, and it's rackspace.jobs. Who knew? And you can search and find everything that you need there. Now, there's a couple of reasons I asked Josh to be a part of this today. He's been here an incredibly long time. And when he came into Rackspace in his most senior position ever, wait a minute, was it a senior position, Josh? How did you start here at Rackspace?
Well, so I started Rackspace as we called it a website support admin at the time. So I wasn't even, a L1 Linux admin at that point. It was, frontline support. I was doing the chat support and the phone support for, one of our products. And then, went through a lot of other various different roles, right? Through Rackspace University, which is our internal training program that is, large. And in the pre-COVID days, we have like full classrooms where, we bring in trainers and all this other great stuff. And now in the, post-COVID remote days, we're doing everything remote and online. I was able to pick up like my Red Hat certified engineer. That's kind of how old I am, right? Like that. I was doing the RHCE track. Went through a lot of great leadership and management training. And so I've worn a lot of different hats during my time here. So I literally started out doing the website support admin role. I was on second shift. I worked,
insult to injury. Not only was it the most entry level role, you did it at nighttime.
Hey man, 2 p.m. to 11 p.m. That was my jam. And then I've worn a lot of different hats to where now, I've managed to make my way into the chief product officer role. So it's one of the things that I love about Rackspace, right? Is very much a meritocracy, tons and tons of opportunity to, grow your career, look for something else within the tech space. I've gone from support delivery to management, been in operations, been on the product side. You really get a taste of everything.
Hey, that's it's incredible. So what year did you start at Rackspace?
So I started at Rackspace the very, very early part of 2010. So I'm coming up on 12 years.
Okay. Yes. I started in 2008. Boy, it was a totally different company at the time, wasn't it?
Oh man, absolutely. Right. So, you think about that journey, that Rackspace has been on.
Right.
We're at this point, call us a 21, 22-year-old company. And
Right.
we've done everything from, started off as a hosting provider, not even fanatical in the very, very early days, right? Like we were, and then became like the fanatical support hosting provider for managed services,
Yeah.
and dedicated servers is what we called them at that time. And then that transformed kind of into the virtualization arena. That took off for us. And then we, pivoted again as we adopted OpenStack and became like the OpenStack cloud provider. And then now you've seen us pivot over the past few years into being a partner of AWS and Azure and GCP and all of these, the hottest technologies that are out there. We are leading premier partners with them, to be able to go and deploy services for customers on those technologies and those clouds. And you look to where we're going in the future, right? It's to be that leading full stack multi-cloud technology services company.
Yeah.
And that's really the Rackspace of tomorrow. And so we've got tons of open positions, to support that, support that model and support that mission. And that's what we're looking for, right? We're looking for some great people who can continue on as we, continue our journey into being that leading technology services company.
Yeah. So incredible story. Your transformation side of Rackspace, Rackspace's own transformation. But I want to pause for a second because we've got some great comments over there. We can see all the things you're saying. So, Sanera, if I'm pronouncing your name correctly, I hope I am. I'm probably not, and I apologize. But trilingual, holy cow. And we are growing so much in Latin America, and I am positive we have a role for you. We've got somebody looking for Linux roles. There's opportunities there. HR, someone's looking for a job in HR. We're growing in those areas as well. Now, guys, here's what I also want you to do. You're gonna see this link popping up. It's gonna be on this LinkedIn post, but that rackspace.com/jobs. You go search in there. If you can't find what you're looking for, send us an email, send me a note. Any of us here, comment in the comments down below. We'll direct you where you need to be. But once you get to the point of applying for some jobs, there's going to be a box at some point that says, how did you hear about this? You type in Rackspace Live. You type in Rackspace Live, and that way, well, Josh gets all the credit. That's what we're looking for here.
Well,
So,
we want to make sure that everybody knows it's Jeff DeVerter, right? This is the Jeff DeVerter show for
oh
Rackspace
yeah,
Live.
right.
And, oh man, of course we want
Hey,
to
Josh.
make sure that Jeff gets all the credit.
So I've worked with you in and around this whole. We call it Rackspace. What RSS stands for Rackspace Services. So what does RSS stand for?
Rackspace Solutions and Services.
That's the one, and
That's the one.
that is our fancy way of saying product. And I defined you before as the chief product officer, wicked cool, reporting to our CEO. And oh my gosh, there's a GCP cloud engineer looking for a role. I think we have like 100 of those available. I may be exaggerating a little, but if
95, something like that. Yeah.
95, something like that. Okay, we've got some producers hanging out in the background. Producers, here's your job. Go find some of these job postings that folks are looking for and get them into the thread and help them find them directly. But so RSS, it's product. It's how we think about, how are we going to provide support for these cloud things? How are we going to help companies go through transformation? How do we turn that into a repeatable service and a system that can deliver amazing outcomes? So, Josh, what are some of the areas that your reports, who are your general managers, what sort of areas do you cover?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're hiring across all of the areas, right? And so we've got a couple of special guests that are going to talk about some of their specific roles. But my organization, we split into what we would call multi-cloud, that includes both public and private cloud. We are one of the largest premier partners for AWS. So AWS is huge for us. GCP and Azure also equally huge, like just growing in these by leaps and bounds. And then on the private cloud side, VMware, man, like VMware engineers, we have got just an incredible home for you here at Rackspace. We're one of the largest VMware partners. We're doing amazing things with our partnership with VMware and Dell. After multi-cloud, another one is our apps business. That we look at that as Kevin Carroll's going to be on here shortly to talk about some of our opportunities within ERP and observability, within the productivity suite. You think about like Microsoft 365, G Suite, Rackspace email, all of those fun stuff. Then our third pillar would be the security pillar, right?
Yeah.
And so in the security space, we're helping customers make the most out of cloud native security tools that are being offered by AWS, Azure, and GCP, right? You're thinking like Macy, GuardDuty, all of that good stuff, and how we can deliver services in the security space to our customers. And then our fourth and certainly not least pillar is our data pillar. And I left this one for last because I know that we've got Nahar that is going to come on and speak about some of his exciting roles. But man, I think that the opportunity that we have in the data business is just massive. I think this is going to be probably our biggest growth area over the next couple of years because data is just absolutely exploding and customers need help. Companies need help being able to make the most of that and be able to transform that into business decisions and outcomes for their business. And they're turning to Rackspace to help them modernize their data. So I know Nahar's just chomping at the bit to be able to join us and talk about a couple of the roles in his team.
That's right. And so we'll bring those guys up here in just 1 second. But again, to go back to, and guys, thanks so much for posting what kind of jobs you're looking for in the comments. Keep those coming because that's going to help us connect your names, provided you're logged into LinkedIn, to hiring managers, which is really our goal here. How do we connect great people all around the world? Because Rackspace is a global company. We serve customers across 120 different countries. We divide the world up into 3 primary regions. Americas, both North and South America, EMEA and all of those regions, and then APJ, which is all of Asia and Pacific and Australia and New Zealand, places where the hobbits hang out, all the great stuff, because they've got tech too, not just sheep. And so we're excited to be able to bring up, in fact, I think we should do it now, to talk about some specific roles that we are actively hiring for. And so, Kevin Carroll, why don't we bring Kevin to the? Oh, did we get Nahar? We'll bring Nahar in. Let's go with Nahar first. People trying to read my mind, and it's not a lot to read in there. So, Nahar, welcome to the program. You've been on live events before. You've been on the podcast before. So nothing new here. But today, just love for you to start with just talking about the opportunities that companies have with that most precious natural resource, their data.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you, Jeff, for hosting, and looking forward to telling you guys more about data. I have been chomping at the bit. I'm super excited. Any chance I get a chance to talk about data and Rackspace and how we're investing in this area, I love to do it. So I'm the general manager for data services. So like Jeff alluded to, we believe data is fundamental to driving transformative outcomes for our customers. This is why we're investing tremendously in this space, because it's such an amazing growth driver in the market and for our company, right? Data is really changing the way that companies operate. It's becoming a competitive advantage and a differentiator. And we want to help customers achieve those outcomes with our data services portfolio. And so this is why we have a full portfolio of data services at Rackspace across data management and database management, data modernization, and data intelligence. So if I take a look at each of those different areas and kind of just give you a quick overview, database management, this is really about managing and modernizing modern NoSQL databases at scale. And so we have an Object Rocket platform that leverages modern tools like Kubernetes, infrastructure as code, modern NoSQL databases like MongoDB, and really something that's built out to scale. And this is something that we support for a number of customers that are really scaling their businesses for their next level of growth. So we do data management, in addition, data engineering. So this is about standing up modern data solutions on the hyperscaler clouds, right? We like to use next-gen tooling that the hyperscalers provide, like AWS, GCP, and Azure. So whether it's standing up data lakes and ingesting all of those volumes of data from wherever they're coming from, standing up data warehouses, whether it's cloud-native data warehouses or best-in-class third-party data warehouses like Snowflake or Databricks, and then standing up MLOps solutions as well, right? Solving really tough ML machine learning problems for our customers, and we do that within our data intelligence pillar. So really a full end-to-end suite of solutions that we provide for our end customers. And as Josh alluded to, we are hiring like crazy across data services. Currently, we're looking for software development manager, so a senior manager of software development. We're looking for software developers. We're looking for pre-sales roles, not to mention delivery roles that can actually go deliver all this great work that we do for our clients. And so if I just take a step back and maybe just focus on one of those roles, let's look at the senior manager of software development. This person really is going to own most, if not all, of this portfolio of services. So really what we want here is somebody that can do a lot of different things, can wear a lot of different hats, right? Somebody that's an exceptional people manager. They love cutting edge technology. They understand the power of data in today's market. They know how to lead an amazing team of engineers. We already have a solid team, and we're continuing to build it out. So, we want to grow this team 3, 4, 5x over the next 12 to 24 months. And so, you would expect this individual to have knowledge of those different hyperscaler platforms and know those tools, understand Kubernetes and containers, understand infrastructure as code in tools like Terraform. Understand Java and Go and other languages, and really have a good, strong understanding of modern CI/CD practices. So this is what we're looking for. Again, a huge opportunity to become part of a team that's growing leaps and bounds and has tremendous aspirations in this space for years to come.
That's really incredible. Nihar, how long have you been at Rackspace?
I've been a Racker for 8+ years.
What was your first job at Rackspace? We already know that Josh started with a broom.
Yeah, no kidding. That's a great story. I don't think I've heard that story before from Josh. So I started as a chief of staff, actually. I joined and was chief of staff for one of our SVPs of strategy and corporate development. It was great. I got to work on a wide variety of projects. I helped with one of our big acquisitions at the time, which was a data acquisition, and then helped with the integration of that data company into Rackspace. And I've been focused on data ever since for basically 7.5 of those 8 years.
Incredible. What's your favorite part of working at Rackspace?
Oh man, that's a good question.
Didn't prep you for that one, did I?
No, you didn't. That wasn't on my prep question list. No, just kidding. Man, that's a good one. I would say probably the people. I mean, that's really, it's kind of cliched, but for me, it's true. The team that I get to work with, the people that have been on this team, with me, that have been in the trenches with me for so long. I can't say enough about, the people in the culture that Rackspace has. It's truly unique. And I've worked at a few different places. For me, it's truly unique and a differentiator. And so I love being able to work with the people. And the remote thing kind of throws a wrench in that. But you know what? Every now and then coming back into the office into San Antonio, it's great to see folks. And even with a remote culture, we've really figured out how to embrace our people even through that. So that's my answer. It's the people. It's the Rackers.
It's a good answer. So Josh, I'll ask you this question, coming up on 12 years at Rackspace. Not what's your favorite part, because obviously something is, because you stuck around for 12 years. But as the company, and you really kind of called out how the company has changed from a managed hosting company to this true service enablement company dealing with hyperscale clouds and VMware. But have you seen substantive changes in culture over the years? What have you seen there?
Oh man, that's a really great question. Yeah, I think that we've seen lots of changes, especially what's been brought on by COVID, right? Like everybody's seen cultural changes as a result of that. One of the things that I think is probably the most critical and that really stands out, kind of speaking of like the cultural change that COVID brought on. Right. I remember reading something. It would have been like May of last year when everybody's still in this whole pandemic mindset and we're figuring out what's going on. And it was, hey, everybody, next time you apply for a job, make sure that you ask your future employer how they handled the COVID pandemic and what they did. And this is an area where, I'm extremely proud of what Rackspace did, back in February, March of last year. We were one of the first major employers in the state of Texas to say, hey, everybody, you need to go home. You need to work from home. We're starting to see some signs that this is a bad deal. And so before there were any mandates, before it was being forced on anybody to, send people home, like we took care of our folks by saying, hey, everybody needs to go work from home, work remote. We're going to figure all this out. Fortunately, we had remote preparedness that was ran starting in December and January. So everybody was skilled up and ready to do it. And so I think, that was one of the things that I truly appreciate it as a longtime racker that we didn't wait to have to be forced into a lockdown. We wanted to look out for rackers and for their families, and we made that decision. Now, so to go on to your specific question of like how has the culture changed, how have things shifted? It's been a wild and crazy ride, right? Like I joined when we were a public company in our first round, and then we became a private company, then we became a public company again. I think that in some ways we've seen Rackspace grow up and mature some, right? Like we've become a little bit more of that technology services provider, but with kind of that still like tech get it done mindset of that scrappy nature. And that's one of the things that I've loved is that scrappy nature, that entrepreneurial spirit that's still alive and well here. Even as we grow into being the technology services provider and more than just racking and stacking servers.
Good stuff. It's been exciting to be a part of that transformation. Nahar, I have one last question for you before we get our next hiring manager up here, and that is for the roles that you have or know in the data space that Rackspace is looking to hire. We have folks who are joining in and looking for jobs all over the world right now, and so where do we have data jobs? Where can we help focus that effort?
Yeah, in terms of locations, I mean, we're doing a lot of remote hiring right now. So we've become very flexible in location. We are primarily focused on U.S. hires for at least several of these roles, like the software development manager that I spoke of.
Yeah.
But we're also expanding quickly in other regions. So we are looking to fill some of these roles in India as well. And even if you don't see those now, you're going to see more recs. Like I said, we're really expanding the team pretty rapidly. So we'll see some of these roles pop into India as well. So primarily U.S. and India.
Yeah. And I know for on the software developer side, one of our hiring managers couldn't make it today. Yeah, it's my fault, but let's not talk about that too much. Is I know they're looking for a lot of great software devs. We have an amazing team down in Mexico, and I know there are a lot of opportunities down there for us. So a lot of trilinguals in here, which makes me think you're somewhere south of the Texas border, potentially. There's some great opportunities there. Josh, you were about to pop in.
Yeah, absolutely. I was gonna pop in to just add on that, like, as much as I very much care about our product organization and the RSS group, as we called out, we have positions open across the entire company, right? And so when you think about from a delivery of data perspective, we have data analysts, data engineers, data scientist positions open for delivery within our European region, within APJ. We've got spots open all around the globe. So wherever you live, it doesn't preclude you from becoming a racker.
From going to Rackspace.jobs. All right, Nahar, as great as it is to see you, we've got Kevin Carroll hanging out back there. So thank you for being a part of this today, and everyone. Nahar Gupta, if you are interested in anything related to data, he's your man.
Awesome, happy to be here. Thank you.
Thanks. All right. So let's bring Kevin Carroll up. Kevin shepherds and looks after our applications business. And as soon as we get him up here, well, there he is, Kevin Carroll. Now, one of the things I think is super interesting about Kevin is Kevin came to us through an acquisition. Yes, Kevin, why don't you tell us a little about that?
I did. So in 2017, Rackspace acquired a company called Tricor Solutions. And Tricor was very much originated about 20 years ago and founded around ERP services, specifically originally around the Oracle ecosystem. And then we branched out through a couple of other acquisitions into the SAP world as well. Tricor also provided a lot of the database management services that Nihar spoke about as well. So a lot of the customers and the services that we offer today around database management were part of that acquisition too.
Now, when you heard as part of Tricor that you're going to be acquired by this Rackspace company, what was your first thought? And be honest.
Honestly, I thought it was fantastic. I mean, the way that we were approaching the ERP business at Tricor was always that we were agnostic to the platforms that we would host or manage on. So we could manage a system that we were hosting ourselves in one of our data centers, or a lot of times we were working within an on-premise environment in a customer's data center or with a third party of their own. And, around that time, people were really thinking about moving ERP to the cloud, and folks were starting to do it. And we were dipping our toe in, but didn't really have the breadth and the depth of the expertise around the cloud platforms and the hyperscalers. That was the thing that was most exciting to me, is just the amazing amount of certified technical rackers that we have across AWS, Amazon, GCP,
Right.
Sorry, Azure, I should have said. So that was very exciting, and it's been great to see how those things have come together.
Well, and just like, when we go out to have initial conversations with companies, in that sales honeymoon process, when you're going out to acquire a company, there's a bit of a sales job to get people excited to come in. 6 months in, 12 months in, what did you start to realize about the culture here at Rackspace?
I'm going to take a different route on the answer there, but just because you made me think of it, we actually went through an exercise where Rackspace interviewed us as a potential provider to manage their own internal Oracle Business Suite system prior to the acquisition, and put us through
Really?
that way. Yeah. So that was interesting to participate in prior to the acquisition.
What an interesting tack to take. Hey, well, we've got a few minutes left still, but you're looking to hire a few people. I saw somebody looking for a product manager job, I think in the London area, but tell me us about your jobs.
Yeah, so I have currently 2 senior product manager roles open, and the senior product managers are really the CEOs of their product within Rackspace. Mm-hmm. They're responsible for the product strategy, but they're also responsible for the financial performance of the products, the sales and marketing, the go-to-market strategy, sales enablement, and everything else that you would associate with the product manager. So they're building and managing the offers. They're looking at the market to see where the demand is, what our customers are actually looking for, or how their experience is with our existing products. They're owning the execution of the roadmap and coordinating with our internal teams, as well as our partners. They're defining the product requirements and the use cases. And they're also building and working on enhancing the partnerships that we have with the application vendors and the go-to-market strategies that we have with those vendors.
Yeah. So as a CEO, they're responsible for that product vision, how the product is defined, how it's delivered, and customer satisfaction and the financial health of that offering as well. So they really do own that whole thing.
100%. Yep. And, in addition to the ERP services that we offer for Oracle and SAP directly, there's building out those relationships, of course, with those vendors. But there's also building the relationships and coordinating with the hyperscale providers, AWS and Microsoft and Google, to build up our capabilities and our go-to-markets with them around running these applications on those platforms.
Right. Well, where can people go to find out about your jobs? They can go to rackspace.com/jobs.
Yeah. And just real quick, the other one I have open is around observability. So also a senior product manager role, very much the same description. That's really working on, the next level of what was traditionally application performance monitoring products. Mm-hmm. So going beyond alerting to a problem, moving towards like the where and the why the problem exists, and ultimately using the trends and the intelligence built into these tools to identify where the problem may be coming and prevent it before it actually happens and has an impact on the users. So we have relationships with AppDynamics, Datadog, New Relic, Dynatrace. We're really working on new ways to package up these offerings and integrate them into the overall Rackspace portfolio.
Yeah, amazing. Hey, let's comment a little bit on some of our great feedback. Pre-sales in India, absolutely, Mohammed. We are hiring sales and pre-sales activities there. It's actually a huge growth market for us. You know what? Everybody in the world needs some cloud. Yes, Hugo, Mexico is awesome, and we are hiring big time there. As far as part-time Linux, not sure about the part-time world, but I think you should consider spending more time with us. Does HR or do we have a contact in HR for hiring military veterans? Very proud of what we do with our vets. I don't know of a specific contact there. Josh, maybe you do, or.
Yeah, we've got a fantastic program for hiring of vets. I think that we've got a few of the jobs posted on our Rackspace jobs portal, right? And so I think that there's a handful of them there. And I think if we could get maybe some info from that user, I'd like to just be able to reach out to them and share them a good contact.
Yeah, we need to get your contact info because unfortunately it's coming in as just, I believe, LinkedIn user. Oh no, we have your name. Oh, there we go. We'll reach out to you directly with a direct message. We'll track you down. Okay, so we're coming to the top of the hour. Everybody's got 1 o'clock to head off to, or whatever your top of the hour is in your part of the world. But thank you so much for being a part of this today, Kevin. Thank you for popping in. Josh, I want to we'll send you backstage, but Josh, I want to give you a last word here. Why should someone come work in product at Rackspace?
Oh, because we're awesome, man. Absolutely. So,
yeah, we are.
when I think about just how much Rackspace can accelerate somebody's career. I think it's just absolutely amazing and stunning. You think about, every major name in technology: AWS, Azure, Google, Snowflake, AppDynamic, New Relic, Datadog. You think about like Dell,
Kubernetes,
all Kubernetes,
9.
all, like, if you name it, Rackspace is doing it, and there's opportunities around it for you. And so we can accelerate somebody's career by light years, give them a tremendous amount of opportunity, ownership of running the business, creating, a growth environment within like the advisory space and consultancy for, how we can help other companies leverage technology to grow their business. And so it's an exciting place to be. We have a tremendous culture, great opportunities for growth, and we're dealing with some of the coolest and hottest technologies in the market.
And great customers too. Okay, everyone. Josh, thanks for being a part of this today. Everybody, you got jobs to do or families to hang out with, so enough hanging out with us. But I've enjoyed doing this, talking about Rackspace opportunities, Josh. Let's come back and do that again in a few weeks.
For sure. Of course.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.